history and boosting Coach Curly Holman's rebuilding efforts in Baton Rouge. A resurrection pegged to the strong right arm of sophomore quarterback Jamie Howard, who starts for the Bengal Tigers today. For the Volunteers, Tennessee-born, bred, and Neyland Stadium-tempered Phil Fulmer has led his alma mater to both triumph at home in a win over Georgia and to the disappointment of the SEC road in a loss last week in Florida. Today, he'll unleash heat as Schuler, perhaps the finest quarterback to ever wear the UT orange, tangles with the Tigers of LSU on the SEC Game of the Week.
Lee Apparel SEC Game of the Week is brought to you by Lee Apparel. With regular, relaxed, and loose-fit jeans, Lee is the brand that fits. By Ford at your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Shoney's Breakfast Bar, the best breakfast in town. And by Nationwide Insurance. Check the yellow pages for the Nationwide agent nearest you.
The Volunteer State of Tennessee and 91,000-seat Neyland Stadium welcoming us to the Lee Apparel Southeastern Conference Game of the Week. Today in a Knoxville rain, LSU stalking what would be a huge upset as it challenges the 11th ranked and high-powered Volunteers of Tennessee. Welcome to Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. It's been raining for better than an hour. With Tim Foley, I'm Paul Kennedy, and Tim and LSU and Tennessee, two teams who love the pass. They're going to have to do so this afternoon with the wet football.
Yeah, well, this is the kind of day you would like to establish the run, and I think both teams would be interested in doing that. When it comes to throwing the football, Tennessee has a distinct advantage, and that comes in the form of Heath Schuler. He is just something else. He's just been marvelous here for Tennessee, and he's got great athletic ability, tremendous leadership qualities, and he's a tough kid. You know, he didn't let him give him one of those sissy numbers like 8 or 11. You know, he got 21 like a real player.
A football player.
Yeah.
He threw 5 touchdown passes last week in Gainesville against the University of Florida. 3 came to the junior, Billy Williams.
You know, Butch Cassidy found a Sundance Kid, and Heath Schuler found Billy Williams in Gatorland last week and came up with 3 big catches. The guy can really fly and is developing a sense of where the open area is now.
He found the open area and ripped the ball away from the Gator defensive back here just prior to the half. A signature play for Billy Williams in Tennessee. Let's turn to LSU celebrating this year its 100th season of college football, and Curly Holman trying to restore the grandeur and glory of football in Tiger Town, and he talked about what it would take for LSU to upset Tennessee here this afternoon. Tigers taking on the Vols in sold-out Neyland Stadium, and our game is next on the Lee Apparel SEC Game of the Week.
Great job.
Uh-oh, looks like we could be stuck here for a while.
I'll be right back.
When you need a battery, place than Advance Auto Parts. The price is...
Tennessee hosting LSU, and as our kickoff nears, let's check in with our sideline reporter down in the rain. Here's Bob Kessling.
Well, I guess I'm not surprised at you guys by telling you it's pouring down rain here, but they said this field drains very well, so that shouldn't be much of a problem. Ball control and just getting the snap from center might be the toughest thing for both of the quarterbacks. And speaking of the quarterbacks, Heath Schuler, of course, is the guy that makes this Tennessee team go. He's got 10 touchdown passes already, but hasn't really played that well just yet. We talked to Heath today about all the hype he gets and how he handles all the attention he's been getting.
Well, it is distracting, but for a person who don't let it go out of his mind, you have to let everything take care of itself. This season, I want 2 things to happen is, number 1, be the best leader I can for my team, and number 2, get my team where they need to be in order to win a championship.
So the Heisman Trophy and all that talk doesn't faze you much?
It will take care of itself.
Heath would like to throw a lot of touchdown passes today, but Tennessee wants to run the ball better. They only had 76 yards on the ground last week, and that is LSU's Achilles heel. They're last in the conference in total defense and last in the conference in rushing defense. So the Tigers, if they want to win today, are going to have to probably stop a Tennessee ground attack, and of course the rain is not going to help throwing the football at all. Paul?
Thank you very much, Bob, and indeed we will see LSU with the football first. I think that's the way that they would like it. Tennessee won the toss and deferred to the second half, so we'll get an early look at a young freshman who's been gathering great acclaim, and that's Eddie Kennison to reach. Tennessee coming into this game, having won twice with one loss. The loss, of course, came in SEC fashion last week. A shootout, 41-34 in Gainesville. The most points that Tennessee has ever scored and lost a football game, Bob.
And what a football game it was. Just fantastic. Tennessee slipping behind and fighting to get back into the game. They dropped behind 20-0, but Phil Fulmer was encouraged. This team never really gave up and kept fighting to get back in, but Florida eventually closed the door on them.
LSU with one win, a pair of losses in SEC play. It has beaten Mississippi State 2 weeks ago and was rattled by Auburn 34-10. John Bexford kicking off for Tennessee to Eddie Kinnison to the left of your screen and David Butler to the right. Raining a little bit lighter, isn't it, than it was about 20 minutes ago. And the ball is in the air, and here will come Kinnison from his 5-yard line. Cuts to the 20. He has the sidelines at the 30. The 39-yard line. Speed got him to the outside, and Vincent Brown made the stop for Tennessee. It's a return of 36 yards, and LSU is in business right away for its young sophomore quarterback in Jamie Howard from Lafayette, Louisiana, who has one of the strongest arms in the Southeastern Conference.
Of course, he pitches for the Danville Braves, spends his summer playing baseball, but now it's football time again.
The fullback, Jermaine Williams. The tail is Jay Johnson. First play of the afternoon from the 40. And it is to the tailback in Johnson. And Johnson has midfield into ball territory. And he steps out of bounds at the Tennessee 34-yard line. You have the huge kickoff return and then a gallop of 26 on first down by Johnson. Native. The tailback again. The tight end and Bishop to the wing right side. LSU flanks the field on first down. They'll try it again. They're on the left side, slipping the tackle. And maybe a yard or two. Johnson is hauled down by Ronald Davis, the right quarterback for the Volunteers. So look at our Mazda starting lineups this afternoon.
Yes, he is. He was an all-SEC tackle last year. They moved him to center. They felt like they had enough experience at tackle, and he's been doing a fine job for them.
Johnson takes the toss, sweet look at the gaping hole, and he's a yard shy of the first down. Jason Parker, the free safety, had to come up from the secondary. Johnson.
They're getting the defensive end trapped upfield and then cutting off the pursuit. Good cut back by Johnson. It's creating a natural seam in that Tennessee defense.
He has rushed for 42 yards alone in this opening drive for the Tigers. A hole up the right side for Williams, pounding it inside the 10-yard line.
Into the seam created by the pursuit.
The 7th play of this opening drive on a wet field. LSU has stayed on the ground. Every snap has been a rushing play. The tailback stacked up this time in Jay Johnson and dropped for a loss on the play. And it's Paul Yatkowski, the senior right tackle from Winnipeg, Canada, that led the surge for the Volunteers.
And Yatkowski and Shane Bonham are the two interior linemen for this Tennessee defense, and have different styles of play. Bonham is more of a hard-nosed, straight-ahead type of person, and Yatkowski, who is a junior college All-American, is more elusive. Good play by Paul.
Well, second down now and needing 11. Flag down. Howard in the flat has it complete, slipping out of bounds. Robert Tupper out of bounds at the 7-yard line. Second down and goal for LSU. The referee today, Jimmy Harper, behind the line of scrimmage in the LSU backfield, is the gentleman who threw the flag.
Illegal procedure against LSU.
Deep back move before at the same time the ball was snapped. 5-yard penalty.
The Southern baritone of Jimmy Harper, which we will enjoy this afternoon in Neyland Stadium. First snap went for 26 to Jay Johnson off the left side. It's been all LSU thus far until the loss, the tackle for a loss by Yadkowski of Tennessee, and now the first penalty of this game. The ball at the 16 for Howard. He goes airborne and sliding, making the catch at the 12-yard line is Chris Hill, the tight end. And they say he dropped the ball. It is an incomplete pass for Hill.
Lynn Amity, who's the offensive coordinator at LSU, substituted Hill right before the snap to get him into the game for that man right there, Jamie Howard. Chris Hill made it downstairs for the first time this week.
Three receivers to the top of your screen. Kinnison comes in motion for LSU. And we have motion on the left side, and Mark King, the guard, moved prior to the snap. So LSU drives against Tennessee and now is beginning to stall inside the 20-yard line and first and goal.
The ball snap. We have a false start. Illegal movement, offensive line. 5-yard penalty.
The second penalty down deep for LSU.
And as a head coach, one of the things that hands are people that can really make something happen.
A single back set. It's third and goal with Kinnison in motion, but all the way out at the 21-yard line. Howard has time, releases, punt shy of the first down, obviously, for 16 by Chris Hill. So it's field goal time for LSU, hoping to get 3 here as Tennessee's defense comes up strong toward the end of the drive. LSU makes a couple of mistakes. Talley on the tackle, the fine outside linebacker for the Vols. And on to kick it for LSU, Andre Lafleur.
You say those French names good, Paul. Say Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge. A 33-yard try from the hat. He chopped at it. The kick nonetheless is good. And LSU has scored first. A 3-0 football game here in Knoxville. The best defense for LSU is keeping that volunteer offense that Coach Fulmer brings onto the field today on the sideline. And that's what they did with a 10-play drive to open the game.
And there you see Phil Fulmer, 3-0 before he was officially head coach, performing the duties while John Majors had a surgical problem. And then last year, winning a bowl game. So he took the job. He was 4-0. They got off to a good start. Big victory against Georgia. And then a hard-fought football game in Gainesville last week.
Matt Hierkamp kicks the ball short, trying to avoid Billy Williams, and he does. An up man is wrestled down quickly. And Aaron Hayden, the running back, at the ball 25. Time now for Heath Schuler to step to center stage. 5 touchdown passes, as we mentioned a week ago, against Florida, and he's already matched his touchdown total, Tim, of a season past.
10 touchdown passes already this year, but for example, his senior year in high school, he threw 42, so he's only 25% of the way there.
It's Faulkner and Williams to his right. And Fleming to the far side left. First snap is given to the tailback in Charlie Gardner. And Gardner scampers for 3 and is run into the ball bench. A look at Tennessee's starting lineup this afternoon with Schuler in. The left guard is a junior. Everyone else a sophomore for Schuler, who's going quickly to the sideline. He has it complete and right out, a first down for Corey Fleming, the leading receiver for the Volunteers. Well, it'll be about a football length shy. Is Marshall, a fine player at free safety. Needing a yard. Tennessee has the first down. Heath Schuler on the carry. Curly Holman last night, when we chatted with him, said what he admires most about Heath Schuler is that he's a true football player. Ran the option in high school, stout, muscular, hard-nosed.
Right. I'm surprised they don't have the toss, where he turns around and tosses it to the running back and then leads the play.
Holmes Phillips set behind it. Schuler down the middle. It's tipped and nearly intercepted as he was hunting Craig Faulkner over the middle, and Mike Calais, the middle linebacker, dropped right into the root and got a hand on it.
Good job by Calais. In this secondary, he's got some talented individuals in it that just haven't really found the track yet.
Second down and 10. Play action. Schuler deep. Batted away. Incomplete. Intended for Fleming. But Torrey James, the corner, was right on his hip, and LSU did not bite into the play fake.
And James, he was a receiver last year, so he knows LSU has given up some big plays early in the year, and Tennessee trying to get a big chunk right now. But James running right with Fleming makes a good play on the ball.
Out of the shotgun, 5 receivers out for Tennessee on 3rd and needing 10. Schuler will scramble, pulls it down. Schuler has the first down at midfield and steps out of bounds in LSU territory at the Bayou Bengal 44. A gain of 18 by a fella who probably loves to run it just as much as throw it, and Heath Schuler.
Well, I think that he is becoming a little bit more patient. You don't see him coming out of the pocket quite as much this year. A young quarterback will go to his primary receiver. If he's not open, then he's going to get gone. Schuler looks, goes to 1, goes to 2, not there. Now he's hoofing it. And when he runs, I mean, he's an effective ball carrier. Turns the corner.
Gardner and Phillips. Here is Gardner. Nothing there. The front wall led by Ike Bullitt.
But just their personnel almost commanded that they make an adjustment in their scheme.
Schuler to the sideline. That's caught by William. A first down at the LSU 29, and he is immediately dropped by Denard Walker in the secondary. That's a gain of 13. So LSU, which trails early, or rather Tennessee, which trails early by a field goal, is driving now on LSU.
And Heath Schuler, as the season develops, going to become more and more confident in this man, Billy Williams. He can go deep, so the cornerback has to give him some room, especially on a slippery surface. But if you give him too much room, they're just going to wear him out with those short hitches.
Third first down of the afternoon, and now Gardner shredding the defensive front. Gets into the linebacking core, and Robert Deshotel drops him for LSU. Gardner, who picked up 107 yards rushing in Tennessee's last appearance here at home in the win over Georgia. What a great year he had a season ago after transferring in here from Scottsdale Community College. Now a senior. Second down, 5. Toss it to. First down and more. At the 10-yard line, down to the 8-yard line. First and goal, Tennessee. Anthony Marshall on the stop after the gain of 16 yards by Charlie Gardner.
You're going to see Kevin Mays get a good block here. As Gardner turns it up in the hole, number 67 really broadens things out. Walker misses, and finally Anthony Marshall corrals him and pulls him to the turf. But a fine job up front by the Tennessee left side.
With the eyes set behind Schuler on first and goal. Here is James Stewart, and Stewart is down inside the 2-yard line, close to the 1. Tennessee can run so many tailbacks at you, Tim. Charlie Gardner, we have seen, Aaron Hayden, and now James Stewart at the tail.
Well, Hayden and Stewart, of course, were here before Gardner even arrived. And he came in here, and with his style of running, this guy's just reckless. He takes it up inside, and he loves to have the football in his hands. They are certainly well set at tailback. They can come at you all day long.
3 tight ends for the balls torn in motion, and they'll give it to Stewart, and he's into the checkered end zone. Touchdown, Tennessee. Stewart scoring his second touchdown of the season and the first this afternoon. As Phil Fulmer's Volunteers have driven on their first possession for the TD.
But James Stewart, it's straight ahead. Fine job blocking. Good job by Bobby Williams from LSU trying to fill that hole, but Stewart fought it off and got 6.
Lance Wheaton to hold for John Bexford. And the point after try is good. 7-3 Tennessee. Back after a word from your local station.
Everyone loves surprises. Everyone's got a friend miles from home. Everyone loves to party. Everyone loves to sing along. Everyone loves to chuckle. Everyone's got a joke to tell. Hello.
Drive down the Savannah Highway.
Both Tennessee and LSU have scored on their opening possessions of the afternoon. The Vols driving 73 yards on 12 plays to enjoy their first lead of the day. And it is Kinnison and Butler awaiting the kickoff from Bexford. And Kinnison returned the opening kickoff 36 yards. It's right down the middle of the field. Up to the 25.
Whenever you're dealing with a return man that has the speed that Eddie Kinnison has, or Billy Williams for that matter, or David Butler last year, who was on the Fab freshman team as a return specialist, you got to stay at home, stay in your lanes. If you converge too quickly on the ball, they're so quick they can get around the perimeter and turn it into a big game for you.
A return that time of 21 yards by Kinnison, who ranks 4th in the Southeastern Conference in all-purpose yards. More than 50 this afternoon. Jamie Howard on his second possession of the day in wet and rainy Knoxville, Tennessee. And on first down, here's Jay Johnson. There's not much off the right side. They call Reggie Ingram the prototypical middle linebacker, and he stepped into the hole to knock him down.
Reggie Ingram has excellent leadership qualities. It's the kind of guy that you want calling the signals in the huddle. He is reliable and consistent, and there isn't any tougher in this league from tackle to tackle. If he's got a limitation, is that he's probably not as fast as you'd like him to be, but that'll be just getting greedy to demand that.
Johnson is on the wing. Here comes Kinnison, headed this way, in motion for Howard. Howard has Kinnison, finds him. Close to the first down, about a yard and a half shy. Jason Parker with his 3rd tackle already in the first quarter.
Strangely enough, they've given Eddie Kinnison number. Kinnison is explosive, and they're going to try to get the ball in his hands.
On 3rd down, LSU got a good spot. Needs about the length of the football. They will stay on the ground and have a big play to show for it. Jay Johnson to midfield. Yep. 7-3 Tennessee, midway through quarter number 1. And Jermaine Williams finds nothing there but an orange wall at midfield. Led by number 90, Ben Talley, the top tackler for Tennessee. Has been for 2 years, and as his linebacker coach, John Chavis, says, Talley has the ideal body at 6'3", about 240. For a linebacker.
And he's got the ideal aptitude, too. You know, he's fierce. And he played behind Ernest Fields for a year, and he learned from Ernest, and then a couple of years as a starter now.
3 receivers on 2nd down and leading 11. Tennessee comes with a 4-man rush. Howard is in trouble and throws it away. And he had an open receiver in Scott Ray, and the ball flew over Ray at the Tennessee 40-yard line.
I'll tell you who he had open, Paul. He had Chris Hill down the middle. Tennessee in a 2-deep zone, and Chris Hill had it deep early. And, of course, he might not have been looking there, but Jamie Howard's going to get better and better as he learns what to look for and as he learns to relax in the pocket there.
Needing to convert here on 3rd and 11. Right at the midfield stripe out of the shotgun. And rolling for time. And throwing incomplete. And in the Tennessee bench intended for Kinnison. But he was getting some pressure, too, from Tennessee's Scott Galen, who is coming up in his face. And we have a penalty marker down, and it's holding. The call against LSU. The third infraction committed by
During the
Tigers.
play, holding, offensive line, penalty is declined. Be 4th down.
I think in obvious passing situations, you may see LSU trying to move the pocket a little bit to get Jamie Howard a little bit more time. He's got good feet. He's a fine athlete. And Curley, I think, feels if they can get him on the corner, get him a little closer to the receiver, he's got a gun and he can get it to the sideline.
Scott Holstein punting to a Louisiana native for Tennessee, Sean Summers. He hangs it very, very high. The ball will bound at the 3-yard line, skip into the end zone, touchback on a kick of an even 50 yards. 7-3, Tennessee at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. Is a 2-time member of the SEC Academic Honor Roll.
We'll be able to look in their eyes a little bit more. Calm them down if they get excited. Prepare them to play the next series.
Heath Schuler took Tennessee 73 yards on the first possession of the day. And it's Mose Phillips here on the first snap. Stopped by the right end. Corey White, the senior from Shreveport, Louisiana. Really the key play in that opening possession for Tennessee was Schuler's scramble on 3rd and 10 that kept the drive alive.
3rd down recently has been a problem for both these defenses.
James Stewart. A tough couple off the left side, setting up 3rd down. And Eric Valentino, number 99, a sophomore defensive end from Houston, Texas, on the stop that time for LSU. Important here, too, for LSU. Boy, if they could get the football back and chase this Tennessee offense off the field, that would certainly bode well for the Bengal Tigers in the early going here. The yards just about even on the ground today so far. Bubba Miller over the football for Tennessee. And yes, LSU will get the ball back. James Stewart stacked up by Mike Calais. No gain on the play.
And Mike Bugar, the defense, Patterson.
Tommy Hutton, number 43, to put his foot into it. Left-footed punter. And whoa, he hammered this, and Kennison catches it over his shoulder and has to step out of bounds. Nice field position by Hutton as he kicked it to the boundary and used the sideline to his advantage.
Well, you want to do as much as you can to keep it out of Kennison's hands, and that was a fine punt by Hutton. If he let it bounce, it still would have been in bounds. It might have gotten a favorable Tennessee bounce. NC State up by 7.
You see the Badgers, who are off to a good start, 3-0 and leading early. And of course, Thursday night, Bill Curry's troops rallying to beat the Gamecocks in Columbia.
Congratulations to the Wildcats.
Tennessee dropping the running back in Jay Johnson for a loss on 1st down. Johnson had had a solid first quarter, 7 carries for 55 yards. Here's Steve White with the tackle for a loss of 2.
You got great coaches on both sides of the ball, and has made some adjustments. They're going to be a little bit more patient on the backside.
Big Chris Hill at 6'5". Let's check in with Bob Kessler.
Yeah, you know, Curly Holman had said before the game he wanted to...
Bob looks good. Kess, you look good down there, buddy. You're earning your money. Good job.
Marcus Babouche, the center in that second unit. May have been a busted play. The handoff deep in the backfield. Jay Johnson and Howard had a little trouble on the exchange.
Curly Holman's philosophy at Southern Miss was to play 2 distinct offensive lines, and he felt you really could develop some depth that way, and also some camaraderie and some spirit in your unit. Larry Zerline is the line coach here now and has these guys ready to do that.
David Butler checks in at the tailback position for the first time this afternoon. The young sophomore from Houma, Louisiana. Inside handoff to Turner, the fullback. breaks the tackle at the line of scrimmage. Has to make that Robert Toomer on the carry.
Toomer's out of
third down.
Toomer's out of Sylvester, Georgia, and he had talked about transferring, and you know, they convinced him he'd get a chance to carry the ball more. And you can bet Phil Fulmer, I don't think he had to promise Mario Brunson anything. Mario's carried it once so far this year. He's actually does a great job of blocking for those nifty tailbacks.
See if Tennessee comes here. They were jumping around, and the right tackle in Tom Turner moved for LSU.
Dead ball before the ball snap. Illegal movement. Offensive line.
I think Tennessee was. Got to send him, Tim. Turner knew it too.
Turner had played a couple of games, started a couple of games at the left tackle because Ross Setter had some knee problems, but Setter back now. Of course, that's the third penalty for LSU. All come at critical times.
Yeah, this is 3rd and 12. Tennessee shows blitz, and now the ball's jumped. Howard will be sacked, but he'll get another snap. With the flag down, James Wilson, the fine left end, the senior from Hampton, Virginia. One of the better pass rushers in the Southeastern Conference. Dumped Howard, but it came after the penalty.
See it again, Tennessee trying to play with the heads of the LSU offensive linemen a little bit, trying to fake coming, and one of them got caught in the neutral zone. So here we go, 5 yards against Tennessee. We'll try this again.
First penalty of the game whistled on Tennessee.
Another man in the game now for Tennessee, Paul, is someone they're very excited about, Kevin Franklin out of Baton Rouge. He's a true freshman. They have some speed on the field right now.
Mesh to the top of the screen. Kennison to the top of the picture. On 3rd down and rolling against the grain, Howard floats it downfield. Kennison has it. That's a first down for LSU at the Tennessee 46-yard line.
And he makes a catch for the first down.
We have less than a minute remaining in the first quarter, and Howard is 4 for 7 through the air in the first period. Not rattled at all here. Morocco. David Butler jacked up and breaks the tackle. Gallops off to the right side and down to the 40-yard line. Kept the legs going.
As a return specialist, but he can run.
Wilson left. Besh to the right side, and the first quarter has come to an end. LSU hanging with the 11th ranked Volunteers, 7-3 through one period of play here in Knoxville. First quarter statistics here, and you will see that LSU has raised some eyebrows with their play offensively through the first 15 minutes.
And they have achieved what Curly Hallman talked about last night, Paul, some balance in their attack.
Kennison set to the slot on the left side. The Vols lock up the blitz. They won't come. It's play action for Howard. Howard over the middle. Hunting Kennison incomplete at the 25-yard line. LSU has won once in the history of the rivalry of these two teams in this stadium. But that came in their last trip to Neyland Stadium, Shields-Watkins Field, back in 1988. In fact, the visiting team has won each of the last 3 games.
But would you say then they're on a streak? That's one.
The way things have been going in Baton Rouge, they take any kind of streak they could get. But the young kids are playing well today.
Yes, they are.
Trailing 7-3 early in the second quarter. The second unit offensive line remains in the game. Floating it deep downfield, wide open. John Sartell, or check it, Brett Besh. Wide open. And overthrown at the 15. A defensive mistake. And one offensively, too, by Howard.
You know, at some point, Jamie Howard, we saw him last year against Auburn, and he just had an excellent game. Came into the game, started whipping it around, and was fairly accurate with the ball. But this year, he's completing just a little better than 30% of his passes. And, you know, Lynn, I'm sure, is talking to him about pushing.
Big punt here. First down, LSU. LSU gambles and maintains possession at the Tennessee 33-yard line. On the carry, Anthony Marshall. On the short snap to an up man.
This is a type of game that you like to coach in. You feel like you've got good players. You feel like you can be competitive. Nobody else does. You feel, in that sense, you have nothing to lose. You know, you can roll the dice.
Yep.
Put it on, let's see, red, 17. Spin that thing.
Scott Ray, Shedrick Wilson. To the top of your screen on the 9th play of this possession for LSU, playing ball control masterfully here in the first half. A handoff to Robert Toomer to the Tennessee 30-yard line.
Excellent job by Kevin Mawai and Ronnie Simnick on the right side, getting on the sideline.
Toomer remains the alone setback. 3 receivers to the left side, a tight end set to the right for Howard. Lowering his head again at 212 pounds. Toomer drives it inside the 30 and down to the 27-yard line. Horace Morris makes only his first tackle of the afternoon. It's been a quiet first half for him, the big senior right in.
Let's watch number 52, Kevin Mawai. Good job. He helps out left and then comes off. Cal hit. Hey, who's this guy? Shake him. How do you get rid of this guy?
3rd and 3 for LSU. Fumble. And the quarterback, Howard, has to pounce on it at the 30. Coming out from Mawai. Slippery ball. He lost the handle and had to fall on it. And Andre Lafleur will come into the game to attempt what will be a 47-yard field goal in his second attempt of the afternoon. He kicked earlier a field goal of 33. His long kick of the year, 49, against Mississippi State 2 weeks ago. Out of Chad Luke's home, a high snap. He gets his foot into it, and it is good. Andre Lafleur, the walk-on, is having still another big day, and he pulls LSU within 1 here in Knoxville.
Andre, where did he come from? Lafleur knocks it through.
Kicking here to Billy Williams, one of the great kickoff return men in all of college football. Whack is he leveled at the 22-yard line by Bobby Williams, a reserve linebacker, after the return of 16, and that hit could be heard all the way up here atop the upper deck.
This is what it sounds like when a Williams hits a Williams, you know, wow.
LSU with 29 plays from the line of scrimmage. Tennessee only 15. Great ball control thus far by LSU. In the flat, complete to Williams, out to the 30-yard line. That gain of 8, and he was hit hard again.
We'll see this again, I think. I hope, because this looks like a first hopper. You guys take a look and see what you think. Nope. Great call. Good catch. Way to go, Billy. But he got whacked again. You know, he's going to ask Heath to give him a rest for a second.
Schuler's 3rd completion of the afternoon in 5 tries. 27 yards thus far in the first half. Again against a 4-man front, it is Gardner for a first down, staying on his feet upfield to the 40-yard line. Gabe Northern, the linebacker, came up and made the stop for LSU.
And I think when you're playing against a team like LSU, you just run the ball till they make you do something else. And that's what's happening here. A fine job by that Tennessee front. Good hustle to get back in it. You know, Hilliard, hang on.
A fresh set of downs for Tennessee, and they run the counter to the left side. Gardner headed to the sideline and run out of bounds after a gain on the play of about 3. Torrey James from the secondary. Gardner's game today. Coming into this game as Tennessee's top ground gainer, averages better than 5 yards a carry, and last year came very close to gaining 1,000 yards for Phil Fulmer.
And Phil Fulmer talked about not being physical enough against Florida last year, and he certainly wanted to make that statement this week.
Schuler to the boundary, threw it behind his brother Benji. Here's Bob out on the field.
Yeah, we got an injury update on Robert Deshotel, the linebacker from LSU. First.
And a fine cover guy, good pass rusher too, and had a huge game against Auburn last week with close to 10 tackles. Possession snap, 3rd and 7 for Schuler out of the shotgun. 5 men out. Schuler looking for one of them, and it's broken up, incomplete. No flag intended for Corey Fleming. Ivory Hilliard, the strong safety, timed the break on the ball.
Good job by Hilliard. Makes a play here on Corey Fleming. He was helping on the inside. Receiver was being trailed on the outside, and Ivory reading the ball, makes contact with Fleming right on time. Good call, no pass interference.
And here is Hutton to kick it to Boone Kinnison. Skied it very high. Kinnison fair catch, and he makes it at his 8-yard line. Had a return and elected to fair catch it. That's a surprise. A punt of 48 yards for Tommy Hutton. Curly Holman's team is down but by a point at 7-6. And we have a new quarterback in for LSU.
And I think this is a good thing to get Jamie out of the game, let him rest a little bit, let his heart rate come down. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see them doing the same thing for Heath Schuler, getting Colquitt in the game on that side of the ball.
So the 5th-year senior in Luke takes over, and on the first play of the scrimmage, the inside handoff, cradled, protected by Jermaine Williams. He's cut down by a Scott Gallion, taking his 2nd tackle of the afternoon. If patience is a virtue, Chad Luke.
The other side of that is maybe he's never really had the surrounding cast to be the guy.
The draw on 2nd down, David. Tennessee shuts it down well. And it is 3rd down. Yankowski for the 4th time. Canadian from Winnipeg. You ask yourself, how does a defensive lineman from Winnipeg end up here in Knoxville? Shane Bonham, who plays on the other side, the other defensive tackle, is from Alaska. Brought him down from the wild, wild north.
The real men. Phil wants real men in his defensive line. You know the backwoods guys catch the beaver and skin them time. That's what he's got.
3rd down and 8. Look out. Luke gets away from one man, throws it deep, and it's incomplete over the hands of Chris Hill. Luke was just fortunate to get it away from his own goal line as Forrest Morris applied pressure, looping around from the right side, and here comes Holstein on the kick. So that did not work out for LSU.
That was a great move by Chad Luke. He didn't want to go down where he was. That was a very athletic move to get away and then unload the ball.
It's their first 3-and-out move today. Trailing 7-6, Tennessee will have the ball back. LSU down, of course. And Holstein represented the team. A low punt. Here comes Sean Summers. Gets a block. Summers to the 45, 44-yard line. And what a block was leveled by Scott Gallion. He absolutely floored Brooks of LSU. A kick of 42, the return with help of 14. What a hit.
And the crowd could see that coming. You could hear them kind of sucking in about right now because they saw Gallion closing in on Brooks, and wham, he lowered the boom as Sean Summers squirts his way outside. Good job by Summers trying to get to the wall, and here it comes. Boom. Brooks hits the wall in the form of Scott Gallion. But he's up and at him, and he's okay. Just part of the game.
Had a personal foul on the play, though. Personal foul against both teams. They will offset. Let's see, well, they will spot the football here. They will not kick it again, and the ball will be marked at the LSU 44. 1st and 10 for Tennessee, leading 7-6 in wet Neyland Stadium. Schuler remains in the game at quarterback. Throws Faulkner right on the hash at the 30-yard line. A quick pickup of 14 yards.
We saw Faulkner get his first extended action a few years ago against the UCLA here in Knoxville. And this young man, they call him a possession receiver, but he's got a lot of speed. Had a motorcycle accident last year that tore up his wrists, and they thought he wasn't going to be able to play, but he's fought off the pain of that accident, and he is a very, very effective receiver for Tennessee.
The handoff. Inside, here comes Hayden. Back outside. Hayden inside the 20, breaks the tackle.
David Horn, number 82 for Tennessee, does a marvelous job here making this, helping Hayden make this happen. Let's watch this. He's on the left side there. Here comes Hayden at you. Now, Horn's going to get the block that enables him to get outside, turns upfield. Now, here comes Horn again. He's going to get another one. He gets Gilliard again there. Finally, Anthony Marshall knocks him out of bounds.
A gain of 22. Hayden, the lone setback. Schuler calls the play at the line of scrimmage. And it's Hayden for the end zone. Touchdown, Tennessee. The Vols fly down the field and punch in their second TD of the afternoon.
Aaron Hayden reading the block of Bubba Miller, Kevin Mays and Jeff Smith. Finds 6 points.
Rexford to attempt the extra point. It's in the air. That's good. Tennessee with 2 touchdowns this afternoon. LSU with a pair of field goals. 14-6 your score on the UT campus. LSU is 3 and out in its last possession. Tennessee took 3 plays to score. Loop hangs tough, gets it away, and it's off the fingertips of Shedrick Wilson at the Tennessee 45. Would have been a great catch. Not a bad throw under pressure applied by Horace Morris. Morris starting to return to a predictable form here for Tennessee, having a stronger second quarter than the first.
Well, Horace Morris is best in must-pass situations. Now, he explodes off the ball. He's hard upfield. I don't think he likes to wait around to see if it's going to be a run or a pass or that stuff. You know, he wants to get to the quarterback, make his imprint.
3rd and 15 for LSU, which is forced to call timeout. Timeout taken by LSU with 5 seconds showing on the play clock. The first timeout that LSU has called today.
When I first met him, I mean, the guy's got a brilliant mind, a genius. And, you know, at Vanderbilt, when he didn't have really the players that the other teams did, he was able to devise an offense that was very, very effective. But a defensive coordinator there, that's far from vanilla, too.
Wilson in motion. Williams the lone setback on 3rd and 15. Here comes the pressure. Loop throws. It's a first down for LSU. A huge play there, upfield at the Tiger 46-yard line.
There, good job.
With a fresh set of downs, and more importantly, keeping Schuler and the Vols off the field. Loop with his very first completion of the afternoon. Spinning to midfield. Jay Johnson falls forward. Jason Parker hustling up from the secondary to make the tackle for the Vols.
It's a talented people at running back at LSU. Jay Johnson, he was the Central Texas Player of the Year in high school. David Butler out of Houma, Louisiana, an excellent first year last year. Robert Davis, one of the most heralded running backs in the country last year out of Birmingham, Alabama. And now you've got a true freshman named Jermaine Sharp. They can run it.
Gain of 4, inside handoff, running room, first down to the Tennessee 40-yard line. Jermaine Wilson. Little number 1, a true freshman, Jermaine Sharp. And he'll get the toss sweep. Bobbles the ball, comes back this way, all the way back at his 45. A big loss for LSU. 16 yards the wrong way by the less than sure-handed freshman.
Curly Hallman getting Jermaine Sharp into the game. Has trouble hanging onto the football, and then, you know, this is something that he could do last year, that he got used to doing over the last 3 years, just outrunning everybody. But that ain't going to happen here, son. These big guys, they can run fast. Good job by James Wilson, who dragged him down.
Absolutely a momentum killer in a game that LSU has hung tough with favored Tennessee. Luke, pressured, throws, caught, first down again inside the 30. Shedrick Wilson.
That's impossible. That is impossible. Nobody there. He keeps looking downfield and gets it off. And although he goes down, look at this. Orange, 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 orange everywhere. An All-American Dale Carter sitting there waiting to pick that ball off, and he throws it by him. Excellent.
Gain of 27. Luke to Wilson. First down again. A fumble in the flat. Rolling around. Tennessee gets it at the 22. Gerard Jenkins off the fumble by Jay Johnson. Hands Tennessee the ball. So it's 1 step forward, 2 steps back for LSU and Curly Hallman.
Protect the ball, eliminate the penalties. They are playing well enough to really be in this football game, and obviously they are 14-6. They're in the game, but they're playing well enough to be ahead. Good job by Tennessee, though. They play alert defense. They get the football. That's all that counts.
They were in field goal range, was LSU, and now Schuler has an opportunity with 5 minutes remaining to go to work. And right away he finds Billy Williams in the flat. And Williams has 6 yards easily. You have to play off the speed of Billy Williams, the junior, and with the score here, 14-6 Tennessee. Elsewhere around the great game of college football in the AC of the year. On second down. The inside handoff off the draw. Aaron Hayden on the carry. For the latest scores, 3rd and 5 for the Volunteers. Schuler on the roll. Floats downfield. Great catch at midfield by Craig Faulkner, and he's out of bounds. A juggling act. Got control of it and rolled into the sideline. It's a pickup of 23.
Get it close to Faulkner, and he's going to make the catch. It'll be interesting to see whether the juggling act was completed before he was on the white line. Look at this. Great effort. Stay after it. Stay after it. Stay after it. Under control, maybe. You know, that certainly could have gone either way. That will be under review.
A 3rd down conversion, 1st down Tennessee. And here comes the reverse to Williams with running room and interference. The 40, the 35, the 30 and out of bounds. 1st down still again for Billy Williams, the junior from Alcoa, Tennessee, just down the road from Shields Watkins Field. A gain of 19.
And now what the LSU needs on defense is they need to pull together here. You know, every time something bad has started to happen, it continued to happen. Somebody needs to come up with a big play here.
Schuler on 1st down. Hands the ball to Hayden. Hayden inside the 20. And down to the 16-yard line. Schuler's so adept at the play action, you wait for a moment to make certain that Hayden or whoever the ball carrier is, or running back is, has the football. But there it's a gain of 14 yards. And the tackle is by Robert DeSotel, who's back in the game, although injured earlier.
Once again, a fine job. Look at him, 82, David Horn. You see the work there? He keeps the containment out of the play. Nobody's there. Now Hayden's downfield. Well downfield before Anthony Marshall can make contact.
Hayden on his way to a 100-yard rushing day has 46 yards as we near the half. How many will he pick up here? To the 10 and on the 7-yard line. 3 minutes remaining in the 1st half. Tennessee leading 14-6.
Curly Hallman looked at his defensive personnel in the offseason and along with Mike Bugar decided to go to a 4-3. They just didn't have enough. Well, they didn't feel like they had enough depth to get 3 good down defensive linemen, so they kind of got a combination thing with the defensive end standing up. 2 down defensive linemen.
On 2nd and 3, Hayden to the 2. He has a touchdown earlier, of course, today. Hunting his 2nd, and it will be 1st and goal for the Volunteers as they drive on LSU.
Regardless of whether you're standing up or whether you're down in a 3-point stance, I mean, you still got to play. You got to take people on, get rid of them, and run to the football. And LSU's still working on that part.
A 3 tight end formation, Tim, and David Hoard in motion. The 9th play. Tennessee moved. It will not be a touchdown. On the left side, the tight end jump. Hayden goes into the end zone. They'll bring it back.
Deshotel back into the game.
The 2nd penalty of the afternoon is costly for Tennessee.
I asked Phil Fulmer if he was still making the calls now that he's the head coach, and he says he monitors both offensive and defensive calls, but rarely interjects. His coaches spend a lot of time during the week determining what's going to happen in specific situations on a Saturday afternoon, and he's got ultimate confidence in David Cutcliffe and that staff.
Phillips and Hayden in the backfield. Schuler pitches the ball to Hayden, who's chopped down right at the 7-yard line by Denard Walker, the cornerback. LSU defended that very well.
Good job by Walker. He has good position. This is a tough play down here when you have a quarterback that can run the ball like Schuler can. He got it out to Hayden in good time, and Walker was there to make the play.
Gain of 1. It's 2nd and goal from the 6. Hayden the right side and maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Fan on 3rd and goal. Oh, about the 8-yard line. He lost 1.5 yards.
Excellent play by the LSU defense, responding to the call here.
Stewart and Hayden have scored those 2 touchdowns too.
Tennessee, well, of course, with Schuler, one of the things you always have to be alert of is the quarterback draw. He scored a lot of touchdowns here at Tennessee. He can run the ball well.
Timeout LSU with Tennessee knocking on the door.
If you're watching.
Here we go. Third and long. You call this 3rd and long. 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. On the 8 going in. One of the things you have to watch for as they spread you out is a quarterback draw. Excellent running ability by Heath Schuler.
5 receivers will be out of the pattern. And Schuler over the middle. Touchdown Tennessee. Corey Fleming slanting over the middle. Hit him at the goal line. Schuler with his first touchdown toss of the afternoon. Tennessee is on the board for the 3rd time today. And Fleming made the grab.
And one of the things you have to watch for, if it isn't a quarterback draw, is Corey Fleming. Obviously the most experienced receiver that Tennessee has, and great field awareness. Good job. Fleming gets over.
Extra for the 3rd time today is a perfect with the extra point. So the fumble by LSU after they had driven deep into ball territory is costly as Tennessee turns right around and scores again. And once again, here's Bob Kessler.
You know, last week Tennessee rushed the ball 76 yards against Florida. That was a key thing they wanted to work on this week in practice. Unlike LSU, though, Tennessee doesn't have a whole lot of depth in the offensive line. In fact, the starting 5 has pretty much played all the way so far for Tennessee. One thing Philip Fulmer would love to do in this game is try and get some of the second-line guys in game-like situations. So watch in the second half to see if Tennessee's offensive line continues to dominate. If that happens, some of the younger players might get a chance to go.
All right, Bob, and of course, Mr. Kessling will be chatting with Phil Fulmer about that and other facts at the conclusion of this first half of play, which has 42 seconds remaining in it. LSU was hanging tough for a while, but it is Tennessee now with its 3rd touchdown in the game, 21-6 as we near intermission.
The Things would be drastically different if you're going in at halftime only one touchdown behind, a touchdown and a two-point conversion. I think LSU has to stay doing what they're doing. They're getting good ground game. They've been competitive in this half.
Ryan Huffman fields the bounding ball. They up back for LSU and brings it out across the 35-yard line. And with 35 seconds remaining in the first half of play, and LSU holding one timeout in its pocket. Let's see what the Tigers do. Beneath the lights on a gray day in Knoxville. At least it's not raining like it was prior to the kickoff. Really coming down. Luke into the flat, batted down as he was looking for Tennyson. Deflected by Steve White. There you go, number 64, the right end.
White was there. You know, Shane Bonham was there harassing Luke. Didn't have much chance to get that one off. Steve White, he injured his calf in the spring and missed most of the spring, still getting some rushes in there. He's had 1 sack so far this year. They think he's going to be a great player. Shane Bonham, of course, a transfer from the Air Force Academy. Just a tough nut.
Luke with 2 completions today. One dramatic catch on 3rd down. Play action fake. Going deep down the boundary for Tennyson, and he overshoots him, and it's picked off at the 10-yard line by Deron Jenkins. Nice diving grab. He laid out for it. And Tennessee has the football back with 23 seconds remaining.
Excellent catch. That's just like a long punt here. Luke just airing it out, give Kennison a chance to compete for the ball, and he zips it down there a little bit farther than he'd like to. Out throws Kennison, but Deron Jenkins, who was a defensive back and a quarterback and a running back in high school, good athletic ability. All right, I love it when the defensive backs catch the ball like that. Lynn Amity making a coaching point with Kennison.
Schuler looks at it, now takes the shot. No penalty flag. Boy, did he get hammered there by Corey White. The right end just walked over and said, if you aren't going to go down immediately on one
Really?
knee, hello.
You want to play with me, son?
That'll do it. Through the first 2 quarters, Phil Fulmer's orange-clad Volunteers leading 21-6. James Stewart, Aaron Hayden have rushed for touchdowns, and Heath Schuler is connected with Corey Fleming for Tennessee. LaFleur with a pair of field goals for LSU. And here with Phil Fulmer is Bob.
Coach, you wanted to run the ball better this game. You did that in the first.
So far, we're running the ball very well.
You excited about your offense, the way it's performed?
I'm really excited if we can get them on the field more often. I don't like the fact that they're making so many third downs. Third down and longs. That's poor on our defensive part, and we got to get in and correct that.
They stunned you on that first drive, but then you controlled them pretty well?
I don't think they stunned us. They did a good job of blocking us on the first drive and stayed on. We're better so far. We're better now.
Coach, thanks.
Thank you.
Philip Fulmer, his football team leads here at halftime, 21-6. Back with our halftime activities from sold-out Neyland Stadium in Knoxville in just a moment. By performance today is Heath Schuler, and the offense has put on 3 touchdowns on the board. Let's look at some of the key plays from last week. The Hershey plays of the week around the SEC.
Now Schuler scrambles and heaves a duck towards the end zone. 2 Florida defenders will go up, but Tennessee's newest star, Billy Williams, unbelievably comes down with it for a touchdown. Our best play of the week, bar none, is brought to you by Hershey's Bar None Candy Bar, the one with more.
For information on the dealer nearest you, dial 1-800-63-RICO. The name to know, RICO. And by the Jefferson Pilot Life Insurance Company, the vision to power your dreams.
Sold out Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. Our setting as the second half kickoff nears. 3 touchdowns by the Volunteers of Tennessee. Andre LaFleur with a pair of field goals. You see the score there. I'm Paul Kennedy along with Tim Foley. Bob Kessling working the sidelines. Let's go right to the highlights from the first 2 quarters of play. LSU started strongly in this game. Tim drove with the opening kickoff, picked up a field goal, and then Heath Schuler brought Tennessee back.
And Heath Schuler's had a typical Heath Schuler first half, 7 of 11. You see him operating here. Just a tremendous athlete. He's got a great ability to escape and go. He does this less now than he used to, but he picks up a critical first down, and then they get it to James Stewart. Fine job by Jason Lehman, the left side of that Tennessee line, and touchdown.
7-6 after LaFleur booted home his second field goal of the afternoon, and now Aaron Hayden into the end zone for the second touchdown for Tennessee.
Fine job running there by Hayden. A couple people hit him, and he carries them in, and now on third, in a critical third and long situation down there, Fleming finds an opening, and Schuler puts it on his chest.
A look at our Rico statistics for the first half of play, and look at the rushing yards for Tennessee.
145 yards, and but that's a typical first half for Tennessee. 224 yards total offense. LSU has not given them the big play, though. That's the good side of that.
Tennessee will have the football first as we open the second half here, and LSU trying to hang in there with the 11th ranked Volunteers. For LSU, that's Matt Haircamp with the ball cocked on the tee at his 35-yard line, and kicking, of course, to the very dangerous Billy Williams, along with Nilo Sylvan. The up man at the 20 will cradle it and return for Tennessee up to the 29-yard line. That is Aaron Hayden. And so Tennessee in business, and here's how they fared, Tim, in the first half.
The score, a couple of punts, and then they got back on track. LSU doing an admirable job. I mean, they are outmanned, and most defenses that play Tennessee will be outmanned. They're hanging in there, not giving up the big play.
The sun comes out as we open the second half, and Schuler quickly connecting with Billy Williams, who slithers out of a tackle at his 35-yard line and finds the 38. Calvin Crawford had him around the 35, nearly let him get away. So Schuler comes out winging it to open the third quarter.
Rodney Young making the first contact down there, and Rodney was a backup safety last year to Darryl McCorvey, and they got him working at corner. Steve Davis says he's making good progress. Of course, Steve, the secondary coach at LSU.
Second down and needing a yard. Gardner will power his way over the left side, and he's somewhere at the bottom of that pile as he goes over 40 yards rushing on the afternoon. And what is that rushing statistic, Tim? When Tennessee rushes for better than 200 yards, they are unbeaten at 27-0 over the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, Haywood Harris and Bud Ford put together these relevant facts and they hand them on to us. Yeah, once they run for 200 yards, yeah, nobody beats them, and the team they're playing is pretty well beat up.
Leading 21-6. Schuler throwing wide open, Craig Faulkner, and again he makes a tough catch down at the LSU 40-yard line. Perhaps not as difficult as the juggling act we saw late in the first half, but this one was tough nonetheless, and it's a first down, and once again, great play action by Heath.
Good job here, good selling the fake. Gilliard in his face, and he rifles it in there to Faulkner, who goes up in the air, makes a great catch, clearly landing in bounds this time.
The third catch for Faulkner, and the gain is of 18 yards on first down. Gardner, a gaping hole right up the middle. Gardner to the 20. Stiff arms to 15. Out of bounds at the 11-yard line. A rumble of 29 for Tennessee's number 30.
Jeff Smith, Bubba Miller, Leslie Ratliff. Open it up for Charlie Gardner. Watch him there. Let's watch him work. Boom. Big hole there. Ricardo Washington trying to make that play. Another miss, and then Anthony Marshall saves 6 points for LSU.
High set for Tennessee. Schuler on the roll. Looking into the end zone. Throwing. Touchdown, Tennessee. Billy Williams. The first touchdown reception of Williams' career in this stadium. And for Schuler, his second strike airborne of the afternoon.
It is tough to stop Tennessee when they get down in there close. They line up with 4 or 5 wide receivers. A quarterback can run. It gets awfully tough to come up with the strategy that'll stop them.
into the pulled end. Neyland Stadium following a 5-play drive by Tennessee. It's now a 28-6 game, and we'll have more from that. Less than 2 minutes to register its 4th touchdown of the afternoon as we open the second half. The Vols 28-6, and here comes David Butler for LSU. Across the 25 and up to the 30-yard line, trying to answer Heath Schuler's 2nd touchdown strike, Tim, today.
Look at this hole open up on the left side. You see Kevin Mays doing a nice job giving Schuler time, and boom, he nails it in there. Torrey James tries to make an attempt to knock it out of Williams' hands, but it's in there. Zoom, and Schuler gets it there in a hurry.
Back in there, too, is a Jamie Howard at quarterback for LSU, the young man who opened this game and then was replaced in the second quarter by Chad Luke. Who will roll? Here comes the heat, and he will not get away from Bentally. All the way back near his 15-yard line, the sack costs LSU 15 yards.
Well, on defense, you see an adjustment there. You see basically 5 men down, and Talley will stay at home. Well-coached player, learns well, makes a difference. Watch Ben Talley. Stick with Jamie Howard. He just didn't have time to get this one off, and down he goes. Ben is actually kind to him there.
Setting down gingerly. 2nd and forever. 23 yards needed. And maybe a yard. Jermaine Williams, the senior, tripped up at the line of scrimmage. And now it's 3rd down for Jamie Howard, and this was not how the second half was supposed to begin for LSU. The numbers on Howard in the first half.
The other side of this is he had a good summer in baseball for the Braves in Danville. Record was 2-1, 3.66 ERA, and hitters only batted .214 against him, so that was good.
Fox in the 90s probably has a few folks visiting from Danville, which is less than 2 hours away from here by drive. And on 3rd down, he goes to the boundary and overshoots an open receiver in Brett Besh, the 40-yard line. LSU has been able to convert sometimes dramatically on 3rd down. They had an opportunity to do that there, and Howard overthrew Besh.
He's been a little long, a little anxious, a little eager. Loop had a couple of great throws in the second quarter. And they certainly, they feel that this young man is a fine athlete that could be develop into a quarterback that can lead this team for a couple of years, so they don't want to damage his confidence at this point.
Sean Summers in single set. Tennessee with 10 men up at the line of scrimmage. They kick it full steam. Here is Summers calling for and making the fair catch at his 43. It's the Vols 28-6. Back after a word. Once again, as LSU was just 3 and out in its previous possession.
Teacher and student. Lynn Amity talking to Jamie Howard. They're trying to bolster this young man's confidence, trying to explain to him what happened. But that one wasn't too tough. What happened was 2nd and 20. Against the Tennessee defense, that makes things difficult.
Schuler on 1st down. Play action throws, and that's caught for a short gain by David Horde. His tight end. Let's check in once again with Bob Kessling.
You know, this is the last year for the artificial surface here at Neyland Stadium. They're going to rip up the rug next year and put in real grass. So they've been experimenting all summer. These are 2 boxes, wooden boxes. They've got Bermuda grass growing in it. They're going to see which one grows the best, and that's the one they're going to use in the stadium. They've done all kinds of shade studies to see where the problem areas are in the stadium. And, of course, this is a historical stadium. This was the first artificial surface in college football, 1968, Tennessee against Georgia.
And they played, Bob, to a 17-all tie, if memory serves me. Charlie Gardner on the carry there, close to the 1st down marker. And Mike Calais, the inside linebacker, on the stop. If I'm right here, Vince Dooley, then the head coach and, of course, the athletic director at Georgia, refused to play the game. He was concerned playing on that surface that his players didn't have the proper footwear. Well, Tennessee went out and helped out, purchased the shoes for Georgia, the artificial turf shoes, so that Georgia would be able to play on the artificial surface. And Georgia agreed to the game, and they played.
And they played, and it was a tie.
And it was a tie.
Well, what good hosts. That was awfully kind.
Doug Dickey, the director of athletics, the head coach there at Tennessee at the time. So many innovations in Tennessee football lore from the mind of Doug Dickey. Artificial surface. He's the guy that put the orange T, Doug Dickey, on the side of the Tennessee helmets, and the first man to checkerboard the end zones as they're checkerboarded again this season here at Neyland Stadium.
Obviously, his wife has good taste. His son's got to be happy. Darryl, offensive coordinator at Kentucky, their victory up there.
Great win for them. Heath Schuler sneaks it and has it. It was a 7-3 game at the end of quarter number 1 and 21-6 at intermission. Schuler capping a 5-play, minute and 41-second possession for Tennessee, hurling his second touchdown pass of the afternoon. The first one went to Fleming at the end of the first half. His second found Billy Williams from 11 yards out. And Tennessee, as was predicted today, Timmy, dominating now LSU in the third quarter. 5 receivers to make it 4 for Schuler. Play action over the middle again and wide open for Tennessee inside the 25 and down to the 24 is little Nilo Sylvan, a 5'9" sophomore from Covington, Louisiana. He gains 19 on the catch, facing the team from his native state of Louisiana.
You know, and there is excitement at every position in this Tennessee offense. So much talent. Schuler lays it right in there next to Calais, and Sylvan, who averaged over 10 yards a carry as a senior from Covington, Louisiana, makes a catch. They bring him down.
His first of the day, second of the year for the end zone, incomplete. Joey Kent with his arms outstretched. Torrey James was the defensive back, right on his hip at the goal line.
Good job by Torrey James trying to run the fade in there, and he ran right with him. Excellent job. You know, the interesting thing about that first half, although it ended at 21-6 in favor of Tennessee, LSU maintained possession of the football for 18 minutes. They moved the ball on the Tennessee defense.
And had it inside the 20 with the score of 14-6. Late in the first half, and then put it on the ground, fumbled it away. Schuler calls the play at the line of scrimmage. The blitz is on. He's got man coverage over there in the corner. Threw it away a second time. Corey Fleming, the intended receiver. Torrey James. They're picking on James at the moment, testing him. He was there defensively.
Well, he's passing so far because he forced Corey Fleming inside. You'd like to get an outside release on that right route, but obviously well coached by Steve Davis. He forced the receiver inside, and that didn't permit him to get to the ball. Heath Schuler laid it outside.
Here's your 5 receiver set for Schuler out of the shotgun. LSU blitzes. It's a low snap. Schuler with time. Throws. Touchdown. Fred Faulkner on a 24-yard touchdown pass. A defensive back closer than the Tennessee River to Craig Faulkner, who's in for the 5th touchdown of the day by Tennessee.
Alan Stansberry is in the middle there. Mike Calais, who certainly can't run with Faulkner. And then Anthony Marshall came over the top and then limped off the field. It looked like he was injured as Ryan Huffman came in for the extra point.
Tennessee has scored more than 30 points in each and every game this year. The top offense in the Southeastern Conference is ringing them up again. John Bexford contributing, and Craig Faulkner has his 3rd touchdown of the season. The 2nd leading receiver for Tennessee, one of the better ones, 5'11" in the SEC.
Let's look at that touchdown again. Craig Faulkner also sporting a little new haircut. Close cut on the side there. Good job by Faulkner, and Schuler obviously under pressure. People coming everywhere. Realized where to go with the football and put it on the money. It's not a ball that you have to fire in there. He just laid it up. He knew there would be an open area. See Kippy Brown, a former assistant with the New York Jets, now the working with the receivers here, talking to Heath, the rest of the receivers.
Line drive kickoff. Kinnison watches it roll into the end zone, and it will be down there, a touchback. Let's check in once again with Bob. The weather's a little nicer now, Bob, for you down there.
Yeah, it's a little bit warmer now, but at least it's not raining. You know, Craig Faulkner is a great story, too. He broke his wrist in a motorcycle accident 2 years ago. Played last year with actually a fractured dislocation of his wrist. It was kind of sore and tough. He played through the year. Then the doctor said, well, you're going to have an operation. He was a grad assistant in the spring. And then they told him right before spring practice, you can resume your career. So every touchdown Craig Faulkner has now is a bonus and a terrific story. Has just fought through a lot of pain to continue to play for Tennessee.
All right, Robert, LSU taking over. Jamie Howard at the helm. He keeps the football right back to the line of scrimmage. And a bit slow in getting up is very large Paul Yatkowski. The right tackle makes his 5th stop this afternoon for the Volunteers. 250-pounder. They call him a finesse tackle. How can you be a finesse tackle at his size?
Means you have good hands and good feet, and you got a good moose call if you're from Winnipeg, Canada.
Probably skate a little bit, huh?
Right.
Play the hockey. No gain on the play. Howard remains in there. They run the toss sweep to Jay Johnson. He cuts back, has 5, 6 yards. Yatkowski draws the oohs and the ahs as he slides down the line of scrimmage and makes another stop in that Darth Vader mask.
Watch this Tennessee defense move laterally. Get support from the outside. Good close by Jenkins. Forces Jay Johnson back into where he doesn't want to go.
Yatkowski and Bottom, the 2 tackles. Wilson and Morris on the outside in the 4-man front defensively for Tennessee. And here's another possession snap on 3rd down and 5 for LSU with Kinnison headed this way. Howard gets tally blocked to buy some time. Throws, and it's caught close to a 1st down, and hanging on. Scott Ray indeed has the 1st down for the Tigers, a gain of 7 yards.
Good job, and once again in a 3rd and long situation, LSU converts. Bill Fulmer talked about it as he was going in. Jermaine Williams gets Ben Talley on the ground. That buys Jamie Howard some time, and he fires it back to Scott Ray, whose dad actually, Eddie, led the Tigers in rushing in 1969.
Be proud of his senior son, who picks up his first reception of the afternoon. Scored a touchdown last week against Auburn. Howard's in trouble. Unloads it underneath to Jermaine Williams. And Williams has 7. It's so rare to see LSU throwing in any fashion to a running back. Coming into this game in 3 games, Tiff, they had only found a running back 3 times with the pass. They don't throw to their backs in this offense.
Well, you know, Jamie Howard's a pitcher, and the guys that can gun it downfield, they enjoy doing that. I remember hearing Joe Namath talk about not wanting to dink it to the backs and throwing it to the wide receivers. But in the game, the way it's played today, you have to be able to dump the ball to backs and tight ends and then pick your spot when you're throwing it downfield.
The fullback in Williams, racked up right at the line of scrimmage at the point of attack, and the whistle had blown before all of this pushing and shoving began. Howard tugging on the jersey of George Kidd, and then smiled at him. And no harm intended. And that goes the linebacker to the Tennessee side of the field.
The big boys going at it. Good effort there. You see number 65, Ross Setter, staying with his man. Not much of a hole that time for Williams. George Kidd's going to run. That's it. At least don't pick on the big guys, Jamie.
2nd and 9 for LSU, trailing 35-6 midway through the 3rd quarter.
Franklin is in the backfield.
Howard guns, 1st down. Whoop, belted out of bounds on a big hit, Chris Hill. Darren Jenkins knocked him right into the Volunteer sideline, hit him hard. And it's a 1st down and the 7th completion this afternoon for the young sophomore, Jamie Howard. He's 7 of 12 now for close to 70 yards.
And they've got him moving a little bit now. See, Lynn Amity has his jacket off now as it's turned into a nice afternoon here in Knoxville. They've got Howard moving the pocket a little bit and try to buy him some more time. They're getting good blocks from their fullback on the contained men that actually are adding to the time he has to throw the ball.
On first down in volunteer territory, Robert Toomer gains 9.5, if not 10. Nothing fancy about that. Good blocking up front by the LSU offensive line.
Let's look at that line work. You see Maui, 73, Simnick, 86 down on the bottom in your picture, Harold, Bishop. These guys are staying after it, and you have to give them credit for that. 35-6. When you're getting beat 35-6, I don't care who you're getting beat by, it's embarrassing, but they're staying after it. They haven't lost any of their intensity on offense. They're going to score some points. Bringing Hill into the game to replace Bishop. Hill, a better receiver.
The 9th play of this drive for LSU. Howard on the move again. Unleashes, great catch, 25-yard line. Chris Hill has had a busy afternoon. The 6'5" tall sophomore tight end from Mansfield, Louisiana, and he makes a first down reception there. That's his 5th catch of the day for Chris Hill. Called his number a lot today, and he has responded.
Once again, Jermaine Sharp is into the game.
Lynn Amity calling for a timeout. Howard now sees it. It's timeout LSU with 5 minutes and 15 seconds remaining on the third quarter clock. And a game the Tigers trail Tennessee by the score of 35-6. Highland Stadium Shields Watkins Field with Bob Kessling, our sideline reporter, and Tim Foley. I'm Paul Kennedy. LSU sustaining its drive. This is the 11th play of it. Coming off its own timeout, facing 1st and 10 at the volunteer 26, but trailing by a bunch. Jamie Howard over the middle. It is caught inside the 15 by Scott Ray. And another first down for LSU. Ray, the senior, with the second grab of this drive, and the play gains 15.
Good call by LSU. They put Jermaine Sharp in the game. Tennessee, obviously, at that point, is thinking run. Jermaine stepped up and tried to pass protect. Fortunately, nobody came.
LSU, Timmy, has scored all of 2 touchdowns this year, both through the air. They've yet to get one on the ground. Howard, or rather Johnson, inside the 10, down to the 8-yard line. So LSU displaying some character against the long odds here on a long afternoon in Knoxville. And Curly Holman on the left, Lynn Amity on the right, trying to find the right combination against one of the league's better defenses in Volunteers.
Actually trying to find the right combination, I think, for the rest of the year.
Yep. Howard on second down. Will check off here. 4 seconds on the play clock. Into the end zone he goes. Incomplete. Ray, the intended receiver, got one hand on the football. Ronald Davis was there for Tennessee. That's the first incomplete pass for Howard in this half.
Good read by Jamie Howard. He senses a blitz, decides to throw the fade. Didn't quite work out. Ronald Davis celebrates. That was only second down, Ronald. Third down coming up. Good job, though.
LSU can enter first down. It reaches the Tennessee 1. Toomer behind his quarterback, the lone setback. 3 receivers set this way. Howard again for the end zone. Throws. It's batted around, incomplete. Very nearly intercepted by Tennessee's Davis. He had to go up in the air for it, but got 2 hands on the football. Wilson, the intended target. And it's now 4th down for LSU. And, of course, a field goal will do them little good. They'll go for it.
They run a combination route on the strong side there. And interestingly enough, the Tennessee defensive backs don't switch. They play a zone. That put Ronald Davis right in the correct spot. Lovie Smith got to be proud of the way that Ronald Davis is playing here.
The same formation. The 14th play of the drive. It is 4th down. Howard throws, batted into the air, incomplete. Tennessee has held LSU. turnover on downs after a very long series by the Tigers from Baton Rouge. And a new quarterback for Tennessee, Jerry Colquitt, coming into the game.
Well, nobody open there for LSU on either side. Jamie Howard throwing it to the tallest player.
Colquitt on his first snap turns and hands the football to James Stewart, who fights his way across the 10 and out to the 12. The junior from Oak Ridge, Tennessee, just down the road, of course, from Knoxville, and called by the coaching staff as talented a backup quarterback as Tennessee may have ever had here. As good as a lot of folks who have started for the Big Orange through the years.
David Cutler talks about him with pride. He thinks he could be a great quarterback if called on to be prepared. He said if he was a regular player, he'd probably play half the time, but you don't alternate quarterbacks like you do tackles or guards or wide receivers.
And the like. James Stewart again working the middle. Alan Stansberry, the linebacker on the right side, with his first tackle of the day for LSU. And there's a look at Heath Schuler, who has helped Tennessee to this huge lead, throwing today 3 separate touchdown passes.
He could probably park his Batmobile for the night. You know, I'd let Jerry go the rest of the way.
Horn in motion. The toss, a third straight time for Stewart. A first down at 25. Still on his feet to the 27.
Competition is one of the things that creates excellence. And I'm sure that having Charlie Garner in here has made James Stewart and Aaron Hayden better running backs. I mean, they've got to play with more intensity if they're going to get some time. And look at James Little Man Stewart here, taking it up. Gilliard can't make the play. Good lead block. Good job running by James Stewart.
First and 10 from the Tennessee 28-yard line as a flag goes down. Still another carry for James Stewart as Tennessee begins to keep it on the ground here now and kill some time off the clock. And as our referee, Jimmy Harper, tells us, a penalty is against Tennessee.
During the run, holding, offensive line, 10-yard penalty.
On the interior.
When you talk about fine offensive lines, this is one of the college football teams that you talk about annually, and that's because of the job that Phil Fulmer has done here. And now he's brought in Steve Marshall to work with the offensive linemen as his duties have evolved. You see some of the same results, though.
Colquitt checking at the line of scrimmage. Short drop, 3-step drop. And he comes to benching Schuler at the 19, gains about 1.5 yards. Let's check in with Bob once again.
You know, it's been a frustrating day for the LSU offense. Haven't been able to get into the end zone, but not because of a lack of effort from their center, senior Kevin Mawai. He's a little bit superstitious. Back when he was a freshman at Leesville High School in Louisiana, he had his freshman jersey. He's kept that with him all the time. As a matter of fact, he now sews a piece of the jersey inside his LSU game jersey. He said it brings him good luck. He hopes to inspire him now to get him going. Also, we can tell you one other thing. He also has an LSU Tiger tattooed to one of his ankles.
The Leesburg native, the senior, the 3-year letterman. This has been exclusively James Stewart. He's had more featured action here than the actor by the same name.
Good job by Stansberry, too. Alan Stansberry, a true freshman out of Baton Rouge. Mike Calais combining on that tackle. They feel he can be a great one as Mike Bugar sends in the defensive call.
3rd down and 16 with 30 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Jared Colquitt. Play actions for Colquitt. Over the middle, and it's caught close to the first down by Joey Kent. Which spot will he get? He needed to reach the 38-yard line, and when Kent went down, he was right at the 38. The play gains 16. Colquitt to Kent. And it is a first down for the Volunteers.
A Fine throw by Colquitt. Good coverage by LSU. Not a lot of room, but he stuck it in there.
Colquitt with a pair of completions and as many tries after relieving Schuler. Number of fresh numbers in there. Jerseys, Tennessee. Here's Stewart wearing down LSU, banging away, pounding, and now popping one across midfield and inside the 45 to the 44. A pickup of 18 yards, and that'll do it through 3/4 of play. It's Tennessee in a big way, 35-6 here in Knoxville, Tennessee. For LSU, after early promise in this one, they were hanging right in there through a 1/4 with Tennessee. At the balls now as the 4th quarter begins. Lead as you see. And enjoy 1st and 10 at the LSU 45-yard line, and this is Colquitt. To the boundary, and that is caught inside the 40 and down to the 38-yard line. As we take a look on Mose Phillips on the receiving end at the Lee Apparel game summary after 3/4 of play.
Tennessee has pretty much had things their way in the second half. In terms of statistics, it was close at halftime. LSU had a major lead in time of possession. But Tennessee has just ground away here in the second half.
2nd down and 5. This is the 9th play of the drive, and again it's James Stewart. Stewart has a touchdown today, and there's been great balance among the 3 tailbacks of Stewart, Garner, and Hayden. All have carried about 8, 9, 10 times. That was the 10th carry there for Stewart, and all have gained between 60 and 70 yards. North Carolina turns it on in the second half, and Mac Brown's Tar Heels heating up on NC State. Auburn in the 2nd quarter leading Curly Holman's former school in Virginia Tech may keep Maryland winless. They are at the half in Blacksburg. For the latest scores or just the games you want, call the Jefferson Pilot scoreline at 1-900-267-5757. Calls are a buck apiece. Out of the backfield, it is Stewart. It's like they had forgotten about him for a while, and now we're calling his number on every play. He's got to like this, doesn't he? It's a 1st down for the Vols.
Phil Fulmer's got to like it, too. You know, when you have a man with that much composure behind your first-string quarterback, it's got to give you Phil, you can sleep good at night. That's nice. You like what's happening here. This is the way it ought to be. Talking to him about being a head coach, and he seems to be dealing with the pressure fairly well. You know, after the Florida game last week, I mean, he was required to win this week, and he dealt with it in exemplary fashion.
Well, LSU figures it out this time, and Talvey Crawford drops James Stewart for a loss on the play. Tennessee quite clearly backing off the throttle here, killing the clock, trying to get this one over as rapidly as they can, enjoying the big lead of 35-6.
Talvey Crawford, he looked good in the film that I looked at, the tape that I looked at, and he was upfield earlier in the first half in support. And that's one thing that this LSU defense needs, a little bit more aggressive support at the corners, and Crawford's playing well.
Play action and the screen set up here. Colquitt dumps. Stewart with the football and out of bounds at the 10-yard line. Colquitt is a perfect 5 of 5 through the air in relief of Heath Schuler, and down on a very noisy field once again. Here's Big Bob.
You know, you talk about Tennessee's tailbacks. Aaron Hayden has taken his shoulder pads off. He is a bruised right thigh, so he's out of the game. But you still got Charlie Garner, James Littleman Stewart, and also there's a freshman tailback by the name of Jay Graham, who won't be redshirted. He will play, one of the highly talented tailbacks in the country coming out of high school last year. So Tennessee has a deep and well-stocked backfield right now.
All right, Bob. Graham, a 215-pounder from Kannapolis, North Carolina. Great speed. Stewart to the 8-yard line on 1st and goal.
Stansberry makes the tackle, Alan Stansberry. One of the things that has hurt the LSU defense this afternoon is that Gabe Northern got in a little altercation probably on a kickoff. We just got the note that he and a Tennessee player had been ejected, so they probably had a little fisticuffs down there, and it certainly hurt LSU more than it hurt Tennessee, because Gabe was a guy that they used in passing situations and just has a lot of speed in there at the inside.
Most Phillips providing interference. Colquitt rolls. Colquitt throws. Colquitt touchdown. And it's Benji Schuler on the receiving end. A big day for the Schuler family. His brother throws for 3, and Schuler is on the receiving end for one of them. Oh, here, his second touchdown of the year for the freshman from North Carolina.
Colquitt takes it to the outside. Just far too much time to stay with somebody man-to-man in the end zone. Benji finally works his way free of Gary Pegues, and it's 6 points for the Volunteers.
Soon to be a 42-6 game. Benji Schuler, a true freshman, trying to live up to his brother's reputation and doing a pretty fair job, isn't it? It's the Big Orange in a big way today in Knoxville. And you see it is the quarterback in Colquitt throwing here to Benji Schuler. And Schuler on the receiving end has a touchdown, and it's Tennessee 42-6.
You do that so well.
Colquitt was a perfect 6 of 6 in that 14-play drive for Tennessee. Back up he is to Heath Schuler. On up man. And Butler now off the bounce. And Butler with some daylight to the 40-yard line. To midfield to the Tennessee 40. The stiff arm earns him the 30 and down to the 27-yard line. A 51-yard return for David Butler and LSU.
Great job by David Butler working his way. David Butler, but a couple of young players that you're going to see a lot of in the future. Butler and Austin.
Yeah, the sophomore and Butler from Houma. Another sophomore, and Jamie Howard steps up from pressure and throws toward the end zone, looking for Tennyson, who collides with the defensive back and Darren Jenkins near the goal line. And the pass falls into the end zone incomplete.
Deron Jenkins has had a good game here this afternoon. He was tested, as you noted, on that goal line situation, and a couple of times in a row covered people on the fade. Got one interception already today.
Less than 12 minutes remaining in this football game, which to all the world looks to be Tennessee's 3rd win of the season and 2nd in the Southeastern Conference. Nothing there for Robert Davis, the sophomore tailback from Birmingham. Scott Gallion, the middle linebacker, made the tackle, and for Scott, it's his 4th stop of the afternoon. So that's the 5th running back today, other than the 2 quarterbacks we've seen, and Howard and Luke carry the ball for LSU. And number 5 in Davis comes off the field. Actually, the 6th, Jermaine Sharp, had trouble with the handle on a toss sweep. 3rd and 11 for LSU. Howard to the boundary, and he's fortunate that was not broken up. Well, intercepted. Here a flag will go down. They'll call it pass interference on Deron Jenkins. The intended receiver was Kevin Franklin, and they're saying that Jenkins got his hand on Franklin's back prior to the ball arriving.
Defensive interference, 1st down, spot of the foul.
A rare error today, Tim, by Tennessee.
Larry Marmee decides to zone the strong side here, and Deron Jenkins is in great shape to actually make an interception.
Yep.
But it's just it's that defensive back paranoia. As you're going for the ball, you like to always feel that receiver someplace, make sure they're not running away from you. And so that was a merciful flag right there.
Mesh and Franklin to the top of your screen. And the handoff, they'll keep it on the ground, and it's Robert Toomer nearing the 1st down marker inside the 20, reached the 17, inside the 17-yard line for the 212-pounder from Sylvester, Georgia, a fellow who broke all of Herschel Walker's high school rushing records. Georgia, close to 8,000 rushing yards as a high school player, more than 100 touchdowns in his prep career. And you see his numbers this afternoon. Headed toward the bold end zone of Neyland Stadium. Toomer cuts back to his left and fights his way for a tough 4 yards.
Well, as you mentioned in the opening, Paul, LSU has a young football team, and Curly Holman and his staff have done an excellent job in recruiting. Got some fine young talent, but there's nothing that can take the place of experience and working together as a group. And that's what this team will learn to do over the course of this season.
Davis is the lone setback. Jermaine Williams, the fullback, breaks out on the wing left side. 3 receivers headed that way. And a simple handoff to Davis. And he's in the inside the 10-yard line down to the 9. Reserve right tackle Leland Taylor, number 57, makes his first tackle of the afternoon for Tennessee.
You see Davis making the cut there, and Jesse Sanders, number 22, he cut inside Jesse, and Jesse stayed down. I don't know if he twisted his ankle or hyperextended his knee, but I guess it's his ankle. Let's hope that young man's
into the end zone. Caught. There's touchdown number 3, and it's Brett Besh on the receiving end. Touchdown, LSU. It takes better than 3.5 quarters, but finally LSU has something to show for its efforts this afternoon. And Jamie Howard has hurled his 3rd touchdown pass of the season.
How did he get that in there? Jermaine Williams does a nice job of keeping Jester out of it. And Besh comes back in front of Sean Summers to make that catch. That looked like he was going to be intercepted, and Besh made a nice adjustment on the ball, and it's a touchdown for the Tigers.
LaFleur with the extra point. Oh, he shoots, he scores. Timeout on the field. 42-13 now. Tennessee over visiting LSU.
The Fighting Tigers of LSU. 7-6 in the second. Vols driving. Aaron Hayden, 8 yards for the touchdown. 14-6. Later in the second quarter, Heath Schuler to Corey Fleming. 21-7 Tennessee at halftime. Vols keep it going in the second half. Charlie Gardner up the middle. Dodging Tigers. 29 yards down to the 11. That sets up Schuler. Billy Williams, the former Cub left fielder. Now a different guy. 28-6 Vols. And now for the nice catch of the day. Schuler scoops up the low pitch. And Craig Faulkner hauls it in, backs his way into the checkerboard end zone. Faulkner, 24-yard touchdown, 42-20. Schuler threw for 3 touchdowns. His little brother Benji caught 3 balls for 16 yards and 1 touchdown.
So now as you look at it, he has 13 touchdown passes on the year, which is more than all of last season. 8 in the last 2 games. He's hot.
He's a Heisman contender. We can start talking about the H word. When we come back,
Tennessee, 3rd quarter. Heath Schuler, Heisman Trophy candidate, in the shotgun, finds Craig Faulkner down the middle.
Playing the LSU Tigers and Heath Schuler.
Now the Vols are 4-1 this season.